A small one, a big one, whether corded or cordless. The choice is yours. But which is the right one for your application? Hey, welcome to Festool. My name is Frank and I've brought with me a TS75, a TSV60, a TS60, a TS55, and last but not least, a TSC55. And what makes these machines special is what we're going to look at now in detail. I'd like to start with the TSC55 KSEB plunge cut saw. And now for the question, what do all these letters and numbers mean? I'll break it down for you. TS stands for Tauchsäge, meaning plunge cut saw. C is for cordless. K is for kickback stop. In this case, it's electronic. S is for a single slot, which means it's powered by a single battery. And E for electronics, B for brake. Electronics always means overload protection or temperature overload. And the brake means the machine comes to a stop within 2 to 3 seconds. What's special about this machine is certainly its lightweight construction and very slim design. And that makes the machine very, very handy during operation and in use. The motor, the EC motor that's integrated here in combination with the 8 amp hour high power battery pack gives me top performance. I can saw through material really well. And additionally, I have thin kerf saw blades on here that are 1.6 millimeters thick. And they were developed especially for this cordless plunge cut saw. On the side, you've probably already seen this angled connector. And it allows me to either rotate it here or lock it in place individually so that it's fixed right here. And that way, the suction hose doesn't always get caught in different positions, maybe on the workpiece or on the sawhorse, for example. What I also really like about the machine is the dust collection bag. It's designed so you can fold it in, and with the latch, it can be attached here at the back. After the work is done, I have a green lever here. Whoops, you open it up, and then I can empty the dust bag here. And yes, all the dust goes in the regular trash. Now, if I want to put the whole machine package back into the sustainer, I just fold in the dust bag here, fold it to the side, and I have a nice compact little saw again. If your surroundings happen to be a bit darker while you're working, maybe in the evening or at night, then you'd really like to have a nice light. Here we have a little option, namely a clip-on LED light, which is mounted here on the side with magnets. If I press it once, I get a dimmer light, and then I have the maximum light to perfectly illuminate my work area. This small light module, and I really like this, doesn't just fit the cordless version, but I can also use it on the other plunge cut saws. And that brings us to the next saw, the TS55 FEQ. The TS55 FEQ, oh no, not FEQ, that's wrong. The TS55 FEBQ specifically refers to a saw with an electrical power connection, meaning it uses a corded connection. The F, by the way, stands for facelift because this one is a bit older, very proven, with a saw blade thickness of 1.8 millimeters and is wonderfully suited for work in the workshop, for example, which is a place where I always have access to power, meaning mains electricity. I can rely on consistent performance. Here, I also have the options to adjust the speed as needed, use the fast fix systems for convenient blade changes, and tilt the saw up to 47 degrees for angled cuts. The height can be quickly and easily adjusted from 0 up to 55 millimeters, allowing for a range of cutting depths, depending on whether I'm working with guide rails or not. And that is also indicated right here for your reference. FS stands for Führungsschiene, meaning guide rail, and whether with or without a guide rail, I always have the optimal depth. As I said, the light can also be mounted here using an adapter. TS55 FEBQ can go back on the table. Next machine, and now we're moving on from the 55 series. We're now a class larger in the 60 series. The TS60, also a corded version. However, with the advantage that I actually have significantly more cutting capacity, meaning I can cut deeper, and that's particularly useful when I want to cut, for example, kitchen countertops or materials that are 38 millimeters, 40 millimeters at a 45-degree angle. Then I really need this cutting depth because otherwise I just can't get all the way through. The TS60 offers me that with its usual precision. What I also like are the little details, like this stop system here, which allows me to make -1 degree cuts, meaning I can make an undercut and then very comfortably return to the 0 position with this small simple slider. Here too, it's possible to adjust the whole thing up or down with a quick adjustment feature. And here in the front, we have this FS positioning where I can see that when I'm working with a guide rail, it's the upper cut indicator, and without a guide rail, it's the lower cut indicator. This saw is also very slim in its design, but larger in height to enable a cutting depth of around 60 millimeters. Let's move on to our specialist, the TSV60. And with the TSV60, we have to be very clear. It's a specialist because it has a scoring unit here at the front. You can't add it on or take it off. It's always an integral part of the entire saw. And with this TSV60, it's of course excellent for sawing coated chipboard because just like with the large panel saw, I have a scoring unit involved here, which then lightly scores the material for me, sort of cutting into the top layer a bit. And then the main saw blade comes and cuts through the panel material. Also ideally suited for these facade panels, these very hard facade panels, such as those from Trespa. The whole thing is very easy to set up with this scoring unit. And here too, a cutting depth of 60 millimeters. Before I forget, both the TS60 and the TSV60 have the option of using the cross-cut rail. To be honest, I must say that this cross-cut rail is of course the preferred choice with the TS60 because I haven't installed the scoring saw blade here. Last but not least, let's take a look at the TS75 here. And so I would like to say the oldest and most well-established proven model in the plunge saw family in the market today. And with a cutting depth of 75 millimeters, I have the option of also cutting planks with a rip-cut saw blade. Or I use it to make 45-degree angle cuts. What some people might not know is that there is also a steel sheet saw blade available for this saw, for example, for processing cable ducts or steel sheets. Also ideally suited for sandwich panels if we were to find the corresponding steel lining or steel insert here. A very solid, well-balanced machine. Well, you've now learned about all these plunge saws from Festool. And now the question is, who is the right one for you? Either the mobile battery-powered plunge saw or the one for the workshop with a cable, the TS55. Or I need one with a higher cutting height, a 60 for example, the TS60. Or I actually have these coated chipboard panels where I want to have an excellent edge. Or these, let's say, composite panels, these facade panels such as those from Trespa. Or I occasionally have to cut up planks or shorten planks here. I'll take the TS75 here. But what do we do if you don't like any of the saws? I have also got something else very interesting for you. It is our little special custom-made saw. Perhaps it is that one. I really do hope you thoroughly enjoyed it. I'm looking forward to the next time. Take care, bye.